Hello and welcome to the Deep Dive. Sometimes you stumble across an online rant, maybe from a really specific community.
Oh yeah, something that looks super niche at first glance.
Exactly. But then you read it and you realize, this actually says something kind of universal.
About human experience, maybe, or how
Yeah.
we interact with in certain structures.
Right. Well, today, that's exactly what we're diving into. We're looking at this fascinating post. It's from Rawo Circle Jerk, which is, World of Warcraft forum. But it's mostly humor, satire.
Right, poking fun at the game. And the post is titled, "Stop Attacking Healers in PvP."
Yeah, and don't let the game title throw you. This isn't just about WoW W.
No, not at all. It's really a window into this very specific, sometimes kind of paradoxical role, the healer in player versus player combat.
Across lots of games, really.
Definitely. So our mission today, essentially, is to unpack all of that. The frustrations, the hidden humor.
And those little insights you get into strategy, player psychology, community stuff.
All the things that bubble up when people play these critical, but let's be honest, often unglamorous support roles. Like being a healer.
So we're going to pull out the key nuggets from this rant and some other related discussions too.
Giving you a shortcut, sort of, to understanding this particular corner of gaming.
Okay, so let's get right into the core of it. The post kicks off with this line.
Oh yeah, this one. Us healers didn't choose to heal because we like it. We choose to heal because it's fun.
Which immediately sounds like, well, a contradiction, right?
Totally. How do you not like something but still find it fun? What kind of fun is that?
Is it sarcasm? Or something deeper?
Well, the next line clarifies it a bit, I think. It kind of gives away the game.
Which is?
But it's not fun? Combat. Except when healing or when we get to deal DMG too.
Ah, okay. So that's the tension.
Exactly. The core tension of being a support role. You're vital. You keep everyone else going.
But the actual act of being the target, being in direct combat, that's not the fun part they signed up for.
Precisely. It suggests the fun comes from the impact, maybe. The feeling of enabling the team. Or maybe just the challenge of keeping people alive despite the pressure.
Not from, slugging it out directly.
Right. It's less about the mechanics of fighting and more about fulfilling that specific role identity. It's almost this psychological contract with the game,
That's a really interesting way to put it. The identity of the role itself.
Yeah, enjoying the effect you have, even if the process of getting there involves things you'd rather avoid, like being attacked.
So does this mean game designers are kind of missing the mark? Or is this struggle just baked into being support?
That's a great question, because this tension, it definitely spills over into some pretty serious frustration in the post.
Like what?
Well, specifically about inaction and feeling overloaded. The post calls being CC'd, that's crowd-controlled tiresome.
Okay, so CC'd, for anyone maybe not familiar, that's when your character gets, stunned or frozen, unable to act.
Exactly. You're temporarily disabled. And the specific frustration mentioned is really key here. Being CC'd and doing nothing. Because maybe your team isn't taking damage right then. Or they're using their own defensive abilities.
Oh, you're just stuck. Powerless.
Right. And then comes the sarcasm, aimed at the game design. THBot5 is N0T, PL4i.NG, TH3, GM3, H0W, Blizzard in NT3 in DD.
Yeah, you can feel the frustration dripping off that line.
It's more than just a game complaint, though. It kind of mirrors that real-world feeling in high-pressure support roles, doesn't it? Where being forced into inaction feels like you're failing, even if it's out of your control.
Definitely. And it doesn't stop there, does it? The burden keeps piling up.
No, it doesn't. They talk about the mental load of just pressing a button, again with the caps, just to use an ability to escape the CC.
Like it's this huge chore.
And the choices involved. Trinket. Talents. Which escape method do I use? And then you immediately have to switch gears and quickly heal afterwards.
So escape, assess, react instantly.
And then there's the third thing, as they put it, having to anticipate what's next based on what had just happened.
Wow. Yeah, that constant prediction. It really highlights the cognitive load, the sheer amount of thinking involved.
It's intense. Real-time strategy, resource management, predicting enemy moves, all while you might be stunned or running for your life.
Not just hitting buttons, is it?
Not at all. And then there's the simple, almost mundane stuff that becomes frustrating under pressure. Like your team moving. What if your team has moved? Walk towards them. Fudge that.
Yeah, the sheer indignity of having to just walk to get back in range when everything else is chaos.
It shows how even basic movement becomes part of that mental stack you're juggling when you're the prime target.
So after laying out all this frustration, this burden, the post gets to its main point, a direct appeal.
Yeah. So a plea from all healers, stop attacking us. Plain and simple.
But the justification they give is, well, it's something else.
It really is. It's this kind of hilariously desperate logic. We could hide out of the way, but you could come looking for us, so might as well cut to the chase.
Like, just get it over with, because you're going to hunt us down anyway.
Pretty much. But then comes, I think, the most provocative line in the whole thing.
Let me guess. Playing the game is not the reason we play the game.
That's the one. What does that even mean? On the surface, it sounds like nonsense.
But digging deeper, does it point to that disconnect again? Between the moment-to-moment gameplay designers intended.
And the actual motivation driving the player.
I think so.
So, the reason they play isn't the button pressing or the combat itself.
Maybe not. Maybe it's the feeling of being essential, the strategic contribution, the social aspect of being the team's lifeline.
That sense of identity we talked about earlier.
Exactly. Fulfilling that role, achieving that feeling the game provides, even if the mechanics involved, like getting constantly hammered by the enemy team, are frankly not fun.
So the real game, for them, is playing that role successfully within the larger battle.
Yeah, the meta game of being the indispensable healer, perhaps.
Yeah.
It's a fascinating statement about player motivation. And it's easy to think, okay, this is maybe just a World of Warcraft thing, or even just this one satirical forum.
But it's really not. When we looked around at other gaming forums, similar themes popped up everywhere.
Right. This healer's dilemma seems pretty universal.
Absolutely. We saw a few key patterns emerge across different games and communities.
Okay, let's break those down.
First, there's this dual nature. Healers are both the strategic linchpin and target number one.
The MVP and the punching bag, kinda.
Precisely. You see posts like, the worst thing that can happen when you're about to take out both healers. That's from a Marvel game forum or Moon Knight mains. It shows opponents know, take out the healers first.
Priority target confirmed.
But then you also see appreciation posts like, a round of applause for PvP healers from the Elden Ring PvP community.
So, valued by your team, hunted by the enemy. That's the paradox right there.
Yep. Then there's the blame game.
The classic blame the support move.
It's definitely a thing. We saw a post from a support character mains forum, our Lifeweaver mains in Overwatch, just titled, "Of course it's the healer's fault, LOL."
Captures that feeling perfectly, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That pressure, sometimes unfair scapegoating.
Regardless of what else went wrong, it comes with the territory, it seems.
What else did you find?
Well, also how players adapt and even push back against the role's expectations.
How so?
You see diversity in how people approach it. Like in Elden Ring PvP again, you get posts saying, no heal police, where some players actively prefer fights without healing.
A different kind of challenge, maybe.
Could be, but then in a completely different game, Rocket League. Well, it's offshoot Rocket Arena. You see most fun to healer comp over on Rocket Mains,
Yeah.
showing a strategic embrace of multiple healers.
So players really shape their own experience around healing, or the lack of it.
They definitely do. It's not monolithic. And this leads to the broader love-hate relationship people have with PvP in general, not just healers.
Oh yeah, that definitely came through.
You see the frustration everywhere. Sometimes I wonder why I even bother playing PvP Elden Ring again. Or, this shit has to stop in PvP from Final Fantasy XIV players.
That raw exasperation.
But also the flip side, the enduring appeal.
Right, like people saying, don't have time to play the game anymore, but I'll always look back on the PvP fondly.
Or simply, this is why I keep playing PvP, often after some amazing moment. Both of those from Elden Ring PvP too, actually. Shows the full spectrum.
And sometimes it's just about the social side, the fun chaos.
Yeah, like that post from Ryomi Hustle. Bullying friends in this game is the best time I ever had in a PvP game.
Captures that slightly sadistic fun you can have with competitive games and friends.
It all paints a picture of PvP being this intense, frustrating, but ultimately compelling experience for a lot of people.
And going back to the original WowW post, there was that one comment that really jumped out.
Which one was that?
Someone just replied to the whole rant with, this, but unironically.
Ah, right. Yeah, it cuts through the satire, doesn't it?
Yeah, totally.
Here.
It basically says, yeah, this is posted on a joke form, but honestly, this is exactly how it feels.
It validates the idea that the humor is rooted in very real shared frustrations. Is not just a joke.
It's Catharsis, maybe?
Could be. And that real frustration leads to these, like, wish fulfillment fantasies.
Oh, yeah. Like what?
Well, one comment expressed this desire for an unlimited CD-free Ring of Peace, which is a specific WoW-W ability that pushes enemies away.
Okay.
And the fantasy was throwing 10 people off of me and down a ledge at once.
Ah, okay. That's vivid. Turning the tables completely.
Exactly. It's humorous, but it speaks volumes about wanting to reverse that power dynamic, you know? To finally have the ultimate tool to just get people off you.
To feel powerful instead of hunted.
Right. A dream of escaping that constant pressure and gaining control.
So bringing this all together, what does this deep dive into the healer's dilemma actually mean for you listening, whether you play games or not?
Well, I think it offers a really interesting window, actually.
Into what?
Into the psychology of competitive play, sure, but also team dynamics more broadly. And especially the value, often overlooked, of support roles in any kind of high-stakes situation.
You mean like outside of games, too?
Absolutely. Think about the specific things healers complain about. Being targeted, feeling useless when you're controlled or blocked, that intense cognitive load.
Yeah.
Those are pretty universal feelings, aren't they? Vulnerability, pressure, the stress of making critical decisions under fire.
Okay, I see where you're going. It's relatable even if you've never healed a virtual warrior.
Exactly. Whether it's on a sports team or in a work project or even managing family stuff, support roles are vital.
But they often take the heat or feel the pressure most acutely.
Right. And the way these gaming communities use humor, sarcasm, even hyperbole, it's a coping mechanism.
A way to articulate shared struggles and build solidarity.
Yeah, it's a powerful look at how groups connect when they're under the same kind of stress.
So just to kind of wrap up the main points, we dove into this seemingly niche online rant about healers and PvP.
And it ended up revealing this really complex, often contradictory experience of playing a support role.
We saw that unique mix of frustration and somehow fun.
The strategic importance, why healers are targeted.
And how these dynamics echo way beyond just one game, showing universal patterns in player interaction and how communities express themselves.
So for a final thought to leave you with,
Go for it.
think about those unsung heroes or the support roles in other parts of your own life.
Okay, like in sports or at work, maybe even relationships.
Yeah. Anywhere someone's contribution is maybe more behind the scenes or happens under pressure.
Yeah.
How do their experiences, their contributions, maybe mirror that healer's plea we talked about?
That's interesting.
And then what happens in games or maybe even in life when we do actually stop attacking those crucial support systems? What changes when we recognize and value that support differently?